So I spent last Monday doing nothing but just trying to fulfill one order. I drove 200 miles and it took me over 4 hours. So we own a apparel company, right? I have a whole bunch of boxes and stuff behind me. It's kind of my side hustle, kind of my side project, second business, if you will. Super cool, but we use a print on demand company. And that print on demand company, which is Awkward Styles, sucks. So let me break it down for you like this. Client places the order on like July 13th. 2 hours later, I place fulfillment through Awkward Styles. I press the button that says request fulfillment, so they should charge me and they should fulfill it, send it out. Print on demand that's how it works. And then something like, I don't know, at least a week later, if not 10 days, the customer reaches out to me and says, hey, I never got my order. Is it in the mail? Is it being shipped? Where's it at? I'm confused. And so at that point, alarm bells are going off and I'm like, I need to figure this out. So what I did was I looked at Awkward Styles. Couldn't find any information on there. Nothing. The whole portal was gone. Everything was gone. And so what I did was I just shot an email over to the support at Awkward Styles. And they got back to me roughly like 3 days later. So we're getting even further out on our time. And so I emailed the customer, 3 days ago and said, hey, listen, I'll check into it. Let me figure out what it is. We'll get you taken care of. So 3 days later, they emailed me back and say, hey, we don't really do that anymore. So good luck. And so I needed to fill an order for 2 tank tops that had graphics printed on them, specific colored tank tops. One was pink, one was turquoise. And I had no fulfillment for these. So what I did was I started asking around. I started texting people who I knew, who knew people, and that's how I found that one of my friends, Alex, who lives in Neosho, is able to print these for me, but he has to order them for me. And I'm like, okay, cool. How long does that take? He's like, well, they'll get here about Monday. And I was like, oh, perfect. That would be so good. And he's like, but I leave Monday. I'm like, oh, no. And so he's like, I leave Monday for the weekend. Or no, it's Wednesday. They come in Wednesday. He leaves Wednesday for the weekend. He's doing some trade show or something like that. So I'm just like freaking out because I'm like, I need to get this done. So I just emailed the client or the customer who bought the tank tops. And I was like, hey, listen, this is the case. I can get them to you next Monday. And she was totally understanding. She was like, that would be perfect. Thank you so much. And I even said like, hey, I will drive these to your house if I have to. And she was totally understanding. It was awesome. I was very appreciative. Cindy, you're the best. Monday came around and I hadn't really heard from Alex. And so I was like, dude, what's up? What's going on? He's like, no worries. We're good. I'm heading back from Oklahoma to Neosho, and then I can print the shirts, give them to you, and we can fulfill. It's like 10 or 11 in the morning on Monday. So he's got like a 3-hour drive and then it's going to be just rough. And so he drives back home and then he finds out that like his dogs got out or something like that. And so he's like freaking out about that. He's got to handle that stuff and everything. And I'm freaking out because it's like 2 p.m. I'm like, dude, I do not want to be out until midnight delivering 2 shirts to a lady who lives, in Pittsburgh, Kansas, you know what I mean? Which is only like 30 minutes away. It's not horrible or anything like that. But so what I did was I drove from Joplin down to Neosho and I sat there and waited for shirts. And mind you, Joplin's in the middle, Neosho's down here, and then Kansas or Pittsburgh is like up here. So I'm driving 30 minutes down here to drive an hour back up here and then driving another 30 minutes down here. And it was just a pain. Oh, and in that, I'm running around Joplin the whole time to find bags, to find like little extra goodies that are like our brand that we can actually put in there. So we have a studio over on 32nd Street that I'm driving to, and then I have to get a bag, and like I'm just all over the place this whole day. Driving, so I get down to, it was like Neosho High School is where I park, and Alex is like, yeah, man, no worries, like I'll be there in just a second. And it was like it was like 20 minutes. It was not a second. It definitely was not a second, but he had some stuff that he was dealing with. So, hey, no worries, no problem. I just appreciated him still being willing to fill those orders whenever. I was like, dude, can you please, so he gave me those. I was like, heck yeah, this is awesome. So I packaged them up, everything, put all the goodies in there. I gave her like some extra, like I gave her a Christmas ornament and some other stuff just from our studio. And I was like, all right, here we go. Time to go to Pittsburgh, Kansas. So I drive an hour back to Pittsburgh, Kansas. I get to Pittsburgh, Kansas. It takes me like 15 minutes to find this woman's house. I felt so bad. But I mean, it's like in some random nook of Pittsburgh, it's a college town. So like everything's kind of weird. There's like really small roads. It was just odd. So I get there and I walk up, and it's cool because she has a pickleball. She has a Christmas wreath on her door and a pickleball. And I was like, okay, so I know I have the right place, because that's what we do, is we're kind of like a pickleball, pickleball print on demand t-shirts, we also do activewear and some other stuff, but I saw the pickleball, I was like, oh, at least I got the right place. So I knock, she answers the door. She was like super thankful, and she's like, this is awesome, thank you so much for driving all this way and everything. And I'm like, it's 100 degrees, by the way, middle of the summer. I'm just like drenched in sweat. I'm like, yeah, no problem, it's all good. No, it wasn't any trouble, Truthfully, it was an experience, and I absolutely loved doing it, even if I was hot and I was in the car all day and I was running around and I didn't get a lot of other work done. It was an awesome experience, and I'm so happy that I got to give Cindy her shirts and then some stuff just to say, hey, sorry you had to wait 3 weeks because our print-on-demand supplier, backed out without giving us any kind of warning. So, yeah, again, awkward styles. Don't use those guys. I don't know. There was just something about it that I was like, one, if somebody did this for me, I would be over the moon. That would be like my favorite company from now on. I want to support them. Two, I want to appreciate our clients. That's a huge thing for me, is if they're willing to give us money to give a shirt to them or to buy some of our activewear or whatever it is. I think that is the coolest thing ever, that somebody is actually saying, hey, what you have is awesome. Here's money for it. I think that's the coolest thing. So I wanted to really respect that and appreciate that and go to the absolute length that I could in order to make that happen. And then the last thing is, I thought it would be a pretty cool story to tell people, like here or just, wherever at pickleball or whatever else it is. I thought it would just be a cool story, a cool experience to live. And it's not like I get out a ton. I sit in an office for like 10 hours a day, and then I go play pickleball for another 3, and then I go to sleep, So it's not like I'm out and about getting all these cool stories. So I saw an opportunity. I was like, yes, let's do it. Even if it is a pain. And I got home at 9 at night. So I spent so long doing this stuff. But it was so worth it, and honestly, her reaction made it so worth it to me. I just thought it was a really cool story, and I wanted to share it. So if you made it this far, thank you. Much love. Peace. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.